Virgo, what is up, y'all? What's good? What's happening? What it do? It's time for your weekly check-in. We gonna see what's going on with you guys in the third week of August. August, week 3. So remember, weekly check-ins, just a short, sweet, general, energetic overview. If any of you need a personal reading, you can always go straight to my website, tarotwithrich.com. But there's a link for that right down here in the description of this video. Most people prefer my general personal readings. You ain't got to ask me nothing. You ain't got to tell me nothing. All you got to do is click what you want read and let me do the rest. Quick, easy, efficient, and cheap. I offer more than that, though, and you can read up on everything else I have to offer on my website. All right, let's hop into this. Let's see what we can tell Virgo universe. What's going on with Virgo and their situation and the person they're dealing with in the third week of August? What can we tell Virgo for the third week of August? Queen of Wands. That comes out for you a lot, doesn't it? I'm horrible at remembering readings. I try, and sometimes I retain random bits of information. That is one thing that I do remember when it comes to the Virgo readings is Queen of Wands. Usually, now I don't know yet because this is the first card that jumped out, but usually that indicates intimidation, because I'm going to tell you what, the Queen of Wands is one intimidating bitch. Oh yeah, she is. She don't fuck around. She don't play games. She'll bust you upside the head with that stick if she has to. Shit. So, hang on a second. Let's get 3 shuffles. There's 1, 2, and 3. See, I see 9 of Pentacles too. Yup. All right. Okay. Well, you know what? Honestly, it kind of looks to me like a very brief reconnection is happening between you and this individual. It's hard to say how it happens, though, because it's showing the 2 of Cups, Knight of Wands, indicating that I think it's very brief, but it's not showing the action, really. It's not showing like a Page, Knight, or Ace of Swords, Page, Knight, or Ace of Pentacles, or anything like that. So it's not really indicating the action here, but generally it does look like a brief reconnection is happening. And like I said, I think that you intimidate this person. It's probably going to be, I mean, honestly, the way this looks, it intuitively feels like one of those things where, like, you bump into somebody out in public somewhere or something like that, you know? Obviously, that's not going to be the case for everybody, but that's what this energy feels like. Where you bump into somebody out in public, it's kind of awkward and weird, and you try to play it off, but you really feel so awkward. And, like, especially if, for whatever reason, they believe that you're doing much better. You look like you're doing much better. You carry an aura and ambiance about you that looks more independent and more put together than maybe the last time they saw you. And it just this feels kind of awkward, honestly. It really does. But like I said, with that Knight of Wands energy there, oh, and the 9 of Wands, it's probably very quick, very brief. Hey, maybe there might be a little closure conversation, honestly. Maybe. Some of you dealing with a fellow Virgo. I also have Leo and Pisces here. Okay. Well, that's kind of a weird little cliffhanger there, you know. Let's see how they feel about you. How does this person feel about Virgo universe? How do they see you? How do they feel about you? What are their thoughts, feelings, and opinions? Hopes, dreams, and expectations? What's their energy look like in general? What kind of person are they? Ace of Pentacles. Reshuffle. There's 1, 2, and 3. Yeah. I see 9 of Wands again and Knight of Wands. Yeah. So I think what they want to do is they want to try to mirror your energy back to you, if that makes sense. Queen of Pentacles, she's pretty intimidating too, because none of the queens or kings fuck around and play games. Oh, and speaking of which, I had a feeling she would come out at some point. Yeah, so you intimidate this person. So most of the time when somebody feels intimidated, they're going to try to mirror your energy back to you. And honestly, most of the time when somebody feels intimidated, it's not because you're doing something to them. It has more to do with their perception than it does your actions, Most of the time, not all the time. Of course, there are people who can act intimidating. But I mean, even at that, even if you try to act intimidating, if I'm solid with myself, I'm not going to be intimidated by you, So usually it has more to do with like insecurities and stuff like that than anything else. So it's hard to say, honestly. That's really the only word that comes to mind when I see this. And I know y'all have heard me say this a million times. Intimidated, embarrassed, feels kind of dumb. I don't know if I would go as far as to say they love you or they miss you or they want you back in their life. But they definitely want to try to work to overcompensate for that feeling of intimidation, So they want to kind of mirror your energy back to you. It's the only way I can think to explain this. I'm trying to think of the words. I do think they still find you attractive. I think so. But I'm struggling to find words past that. That's the only words I can think of for this. Doesn't look, well, I don't think it looks like they have bad intentions. Like they're not trying to manipulate you for some kind of, to gain something out of you. They may be trying to manipulate the situation just to alter your perception of reality, but I don't really think they're trying to gain something from you, if that makes sense. Let's get the advice with this. This is such a fucking cliffhanger, dude. What's the advice? What's the advice for Virgo? Oh, 7 of Cups. Keep your options open. Yeah, this is saying don't put your life on hold, waiting for this person or anyone else for that matter. Actually, this is also telling me too that for a lot of you, the universe is putting you in this situation to give you the opportunity to release this. I came up with a really good analogy today, actually, when I was reading for a client. So you know how sometimes I'll tell you that the universe will allow you to revisit something from your past to give you the chance to release it so that you see it from a different perspective? Well, I came up with a really good analogy. It's just like when you see a movie as an adult for the first time since when you was a little kid. You know that feeling? You know that feeling? I know I'm a millennial, so I was born in the 80s. My childhood was in the 90s, and every now and then, sometimes, something will cross my mind, a movie that I used to be obsessed with when I was 8 or 9 years old, and I haven't seen it since then, and you go back and watch it, And now it's totally different. You're like, oh, wow, now that makes sense. So obsessed with that back then when I didn't even understand it. I thought I understood it. I understood it through my level of perception then, but now I clearly see it for way more than what I saw it for back then, you know? Very, very similarly. The universe will allow you to revisit a person or a situation from your past, and if you do it at the right time, you can experience a very similar sensation where it's like, I don't really know how to explain it, you know? It's like, I just see this for what it is now. Now it makes sense. It didn't make sense back then. Now it makes sense, you know? And it makes it kind of easier to release when it comes to a person or a situation from your past. It's kind of what this feels like. And releasing past vibration puts you one step closer to attracting your actual divine life partner, or at least a life partner. This is a general reading for the masses, so I got to be careful how I word things. So yeah, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm just going to tell you the energy that is available. And you take that information and do with it what you will. All right, let's see what's happening with the single Virgos and the person they're interested in. Third week of August. Let's see what's happening. Anything good happening? Anything bad happening? Anything happening at all? Single Virgos and the person they're interested in. What's happening in the third week of August, universe? What's happening? Uh-oh, devil reversed. I guess could be a Capricorn for some of you. Some of you could be interested in somebody who's in recovery, possibly. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Boom. What's happening here? What is happening here? I kind of feel some past person energy in this. Which, of course, like I've said a million times, every time I read a new connection or potential new connection, past energy always comes through. Because we humans just haven't learned how to release past energy yet. They don't want us to. So I'm not throwing shade at people when I say that. They don't want us to. They have been making a very strong concerted effort to make sure that we don't know how to release past energy. Could you imagine what would happen if every human on the planet was to learn how to heal, release, and transmute energy and release trauma? Could you imagine? This whole fucking game would fall apart. The whole fucking game would fall apart. Therapy, psychology, psychiatry, oh, that would collapse to the ground in a 5-year period. The medical industry, big pharma, oh, that would collapse. The whole damn game would collapse. They don't want you to know how to heal. So, because of that, 9 times out of 10, when relationships form, there's past energy being drug into it. You know, and that's not a guaranteed deal breaker as long as you release that past energy, but most people don't know how to do that. So anyway, I don't want to trail off. Definitely some major past energy in the mix here. I don't know if maybe a past person is trying to sabotage things, like maybe a jealous, salty ex wanting to try to sabotage things to make sure this person's not able to move on. Or hey, is it your jealous, salty ex? I don't know. It does look like there is somebody trying to sabotage this, though. I think so. And I'm not going to lie, man. This right here looks like whoever it is that's trying to sabotage it is successful. But at the end of the day, when you meet your person, ain't nobody gonna be able to sabotage that. And trust me, they will try. Oh yes, they will. Because if there's one thing people don't like seeing, it's you having what they want. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. When you get what everybody else wants, oh, you'll get attacked. Oh, you will be attacked. Oh yes, you will. But when you meet your person, ain't nobody gonna be able to sabotage that. So that's the outlook I've always had. If somebody could potentially take you away from me, you ain't mine anyways. Anyway, I gotta be careful and not trail off. I keep getting close to trailing off. Let's see how this person feels about you. What are their feelings, energies, and intentions? The person Virgo is interested in. Ooh, Seven of Swords reversed. They got trust issues. They do got trust issues. And they're keeping their options open. They don't want drama. I think, honestly, I don't think this person has bad intentions. However, I do think they are a lonely, emotional codependent with trust issues. They're ready to find a life partner and settle down. They don't want no drama. But they're ready to find a life partner and settle down. They just don't know who that person is. So they're still keeping their options open. When it all comes down to it, if you don't know whether or not you want to be with me or somebody else, you ain't my person. You ain't my person. So I don't think they have bad intentions, though. I really don't. I don't think so. Well, let's grab the advice here. I don't know how much advice can be given for a situation like this, but let's see. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Queen of Swords. So at the end of the day, walk in truth. Walk in truth. As long as you know, this is the hard part for a lot of people to really accept and understand. As long as you know where your heart is, you know what your intentions are, you know that you're walking in truth and integrity, nothing else matters. It doesn't matter what rumors get spread about you. It doesn't matter what somebody thinks about you. If you're walking in truth and integrity and somebody chooses not to see it, you don't need that person in your life anyways. You don't need them in your life anyways. Think about it. I haven't given this little piece of advice in a while. Think about this. When a rumor starts floating around about you, that is the perfect time to step back and see who your people really are. That's the universe exposing the snakes in your life. Think about this. Do a little mental exercise with me, okay? Right now, I want you to bring to mind a picture of somebody that you have very high feelings for. You hold a very high regard. Somebody you like, somebody you love, somebody you look up to, somebody you trust and appreciate, right? Now imagine you hear a rumor floating around about that person. You don't want to believe it. You don't want to. You like that person. You look up to them. You don't want to believe that. It's possible that you could even jump to that person's defense with no evidence to prove whether it's true or not. Because that's your people. That's somebody you like. You look up to them, right? You don't want to believe that shit. Now, bring to mind a picture of somebody you don't like. You don't have to have a reason. Come on, we're all regular humans. You ain't got to have a reason. You just don't like the way they look. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if they did something or not. Just bring to mind a person, somebody you just don't fucking like. You just can't stand them. You don't like their energy. You don't like their vibe. You just don't like them. Now imagine you hear a rumor floating around about that person. You want to believe that, don't you? You want to believe that. Makes you happy. Makes you happy. You might even jump to wanting to keep that rumor going with no evidence to prove whether or not it's true. Because you don't fucking like that person, right? Come on, don't lie. We're all the same. Next time somebody tries to spread some shit or start some shit, step back and see who believes it. That'll tell you who your people are. That'll tell you real fucking quick. It's like, oh wow, really? You believe that about me? You believe that? Really? You know me. You fucking know me. That doesn't even sound like something that I would do or say. And you believe that? You know what that tells me? That tells me you want to believe that. You never were my people. You were an undercover hater is what you were. Okay. All right. And I promise you this. You got a lot more undercover haters than you know. Yeah, you do. Oh, wait till you start climbing the steps to success. That's a different story. Again, I don't want to trail off, but once you start making massive fucking moves in your life, then you'll really find out who your undercover haters are. Again, different topic for a different time, but if you're walking in truth and integrity, we got the Queen and the King of Swords here. So ladies and fellas, it don't matter who you is, walk in truth and walk in integrity. As long as you know in your heart that you're rock solid. If somebody doesn't see it, you don't need them in your life anyways. You don't need them in your life anyways. What's the point? When it all comes down to it, the sooner you can learn this in life, the better. You have no control over how people see you. No control of it. So many people exude the majority of their energy into trying to control everyone else's perception of them. You know, one question that I get, not all the time, but it's not uncommon. How do people perceive me? What? How do people there ain't no way to answer that question. How many people do you know right now? Maybe 100? If you know 100 people, there's 100 very unique, idiosyncratic, private perceptions of you that exist in the mind of each person. Well, there's one in the mind of each person. So 100 total. 100 different versions of you are existing within that collective of 100 people. And every one of them's different. Every one of them's different. You can't control the way people see you. People are going to see you the way they want to see you. I remember my daughter came to me crying years ago when she was a little kid. And she was crying saying, I don't know how to make this person like me. I said, baby, you ain't never going to make anybody like you. She didn't understand. So I said, okay, let me tell you something. Tell me somebody that you don't like. Give me the name of some kid that you just do not like. And she rattled off some name. And I said, okay, is there anything that kid could do to make you like them? She said, no. I said, exactly. You don't want to like that kid, do you? She said, no. So it doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter what they say. You're not going to like that kid. And then I saw the light bulb come on in her head. Planted that little seed in her mind. You're not going to control the way people see you. Walk in truth. Walk in integrity. If you have a love interest that you're dealing with and somebody tries to sabotage it, just step back and see what happens. If it works, you didn't need that person in your life to begin with. Okay? That's the universe taking the trash out for you. All right? All right, y'all. I feel like those were the messages that my Virgo family needed to hear. So I am going to go ahead and end this video here. Thanks again for tuning in and playing along. Don't forget, the information for personal readings is all down here in the description, all right? I'm out of here now. I will see you sometime between now and the rest of all eternity.